Welcome, ladies. In the fourth lesson of Unit 3, understanding how incidents should be responded to. So, in case of any incident, what should you do as an employee? So, where we can find incidents, usually in what type of incidents that we can usually find it on public environment. First, we need to understand what is incident. Incidents considered as unplanned action or event that cause or had the potential to cause injury or damage, either to people, project personnel or public, or equipment, or properties, or to the environment. So if we define the incidents here as unplanned event, so something wasn't planned that put people in dangers or equipment in dangers or the space and the properties in dangers or even the environment like the trees, like the mountain. So this is what how we can define incidents, unplanned event. For example, we could define coronavirus as incident, as no one was planned to have the virus, but it already exists. It's start to affected people and spread around the world. Then we have to deal with this incidents. For example, the fire. So, if we have fire in a space, no one will plan for the fire. No one will know when it will happen. Also, earthquake, which is a shaking on the earth and results in the fall down of the buildings or houses or hurting people. Also, the forest fire. Forest fire is happening because of the dry leaves with the sun heat, which it can cause a fire in the forest. Then a lot of trees will be burned. So this also not a planned incident. We also have the flooding which is caused by drawing people and equipments like car, like streets with a lot of waters. Due to a lot of rains or bad draining of water. So, flood, the covering of normally dry land with a large amount of water, usually caused by heavy rains or overflows rivers or storm, surge, and tsunami, melting snow and ice. So, this is the cause of usually flooding. Or the opposite, we have the draw here. Draw means the earth will become very dry because of the lack of water or the absence of water. We can define draw as a long period of time when there is no rain, and this will cause the death of trees, the running of the animals lives in that area, so we lose the life because of draw in that space. It can be caused by not receiving rain or snow over a period of time. Um, this is the flooding because of melted of the snow ice or also this is the draw the water is going level is going down. So how we make sure that we in case of any incidents we are not affected too much with its impact. We try to first plan ahead for the potential risk that we might be faced. Then we should evaluate the risk. If we could avoid it, then we try to avoid it. If we cannot avoid it, then we plan ahead what we will do in case of this risk happen in the future. So the first things you have to evaluate the risk, measure it. Is it the level of the risk, is it high, is it low? So the first things you have to do in evaluating the risk, you have to accept the risk. Then you have to treat the risk. So in treating the risk, try to control it, try to transfer it, or try to avoid it. So in treating with the risk, you have three cases: either to control the risk in case it's happened, or transfer it to another space, or try to avoid it if you can. For example, to reduce the likelihood of an incident occurring, try to avoid routes with poor terrain or known hazards. So if you already know there is a danger or a hazard in one of the way, try to change the traffic to other way. Train employees in a proper handling and packaging. So make sure that you have a proper training for your staffs. They already know how to pack the things. They already know how to close it safely. Regularly inspect packages and vehicle vessels. Always make sure that the vehicle and cars and all the transportation tools is on a good conditions to be used. Check the tires, check the engine, check the oil. So do the regular check that uh, the used equipment already is good enough. Reduce potential consequence if an incident occur. How we reduce it if it's خلاص, so we can't avoid it as happen. Avoid routes that pass through highly populated or environmentally sensitive area. So don't go to routes that already defined as a dangerous way. Um, Train employees to contain spills quickly. So do an evacuation plan and train your staff how to evacuate the space very quickly. Have well documented emergency procedures. Already prepare yourself for any case of incidents or hazards about the emergency procedures, what everyone should do. Someone have to call the police, someone have to call the fire station, someone has to make sure the space is empty, someone have to turn on the alarm. So already set a plan for what your employees should do in case of an emergency plan. Provide procedures to employees to minimize exposure during leakage. So already provide proper training for your employees. Keep spill cleanup equipment on vehicle vessel at all times. So make sure that the used equipment are on the good condition. How we can reduce the incidents, the hazards or the risk of the incidents. As we said, we should identify first the risk and measure it, then examine solutions. So we already have to set some solutions for expected expected risk. Then work throughout your solutions, and later you have to monitor results. So by the end, you have to see is this will work for this case of hazards or not. Also, you need to define why this is a risk. So why it can damage or harm people or the equipment or the space, and who could be affected, and when it can happen, and where, in which place, and what it is. We have to rate the risk also. So we will give red color for high risk or immediate dangers to people, and white for very low risk, which can cause um, not too often and not damaging a lot of the space or can cause little harm. In betweens, we have the degrees to higher risk. So we have low risk, we have medium risk, we have high risk, and we have immediate dangers. In hotels, usually we have two departments, which is always at risk or have high potential of risk, which is usually the maintenance and housekeeping. Maintenance department responsible about fixing the damaged equipments, and housekeeping usually they are responsible to move in from a space to space, from room to a room, to make sure they clean everything. So they have to carry the cleaning equipment. Why these departments in hotel have the most potential risk and accidents and injuries? Because usually they move in a lot, so they might fall down at any time, or they might spills on wet floor. So because they move a lot, they are not sitting on an office. They also carrying sometimes a trolley with towels and cleaning equipment, and this might fall down, or it might be heavy, and if they push it, it might go somewhere that not planned. The same thing with the maintenance. They used a lot of tools like cutting tools or stairs. Sometimes they have to climb, so they are in danger to fall down. So one basis for this frequency is the sheer labor intensity of these two departments. So we can also know who is really in danger by checking where is the accident and incidents usually happen. In many operations, housekeeping and maintenance employ more people than any other department. So usually we have a lot of people working on both two in both these departments. Another reason lies in the fact that working in housekeeping or maintenance involves physical activities. So usually they have to do some physical activities, not just sitting, and use a lot of equipment. Both will increase the risk of accidents and injuries. So we have to make sure we provide the proper health and safety for people in hotels and usually in these departments. What is your rule if you work in a reception? You have to try to spot any dangers that or any risk that might cause a danger to the people who's around you or to yourself. And also you have to report the incidents. The 7 critical steps of incidents investigation are, so try to be aware about the dangers around you and risk around you. If you able to recognize one of the risk, then try to take immediate actions. If it was a fire starting from one of the wires, then pull out the wires and save the space. Then you have to report the incident. You have to report to the authorities. So sometimes you need to call police or fire stations. Investigate and develop corrective action. So try to have the enough awareness to take the correct action. Calculate the cost. You have to calculate the cost, which is most valuable here, a human or the space, the equipment or the space. So try to calculate the cost. Conduct a root cause analysis. What was the reason for this fire? Is it because some electricity spilled or a water in the space? Then you have to record the details. Um, for sure, training and development the employees for spotting hazards can increase the value of a human capital, as human capital is the most valuable power in any working space. Providing the safety training for the employees will minimize the hazards and, minimize the risk that might be, uh, cannot avoid it. So to how to safety spot hazard, new skills spotting hazard. So you have to spot the hazard, also noticing and correcting the hazard. So you already see something that considered as a hazard, you have also to be aware enough about how you should fix it or correct it. This will result in safety conscious staff, which is lead to fewer accidents. So we will have less accident. Um, most of risk that happen in any space without planning is fire. We don't know when we will have a fire. But based on the type of fire, as we have multiple types of fire, there is the industrial fire, there is the natural fire, there is the kitchen fire. So based on what caused the fire, we can define the type of fire. So we have the ordinary combustibles, which is caused by wood, paper, cloth, usually. So this is the ordinary fire. We give it class A. Then we have a class B, which is caused by flammable liquid like grease, oil, paint, solvent. So this is what is caused by flammable liquid. We will give it the category B. Then we have the category C, fires because of electricity, electrical panel or motor or wiring. So this is fire because we give it the category C. So we have the ordinary wood, paper, cloth. Then we have the flammable liquid like oil, gas. Then we have the electricity fire. Then we have the combustible metal like magnesium, aluminum, etc. This is like what happened in Lebanon. So in Lebanon, there was a fire a few months ago because of the aluminium, something magnesium, aluminium, something, some chemical material that caused a fire. This is category D. Then we have the commercial cooking equipment like the cooking oil, animal fats, and vegetable oil, and this is category K. Most of the fires, we can define its location or its coverage, let us say. So there is on the patient fire, there is in the patient fire, include airway fires or on or in a piece of equipment. So sometimes it will become on the people or in the people or on or in a piece of equipment. So we already discussed the different class. So we have a class A, which is because of wood, paper, cloth, rubber, trash, and plastic. And this is the common and typical commercial and home setting. So usually we can't avoid using these materials in home or commercial. This type of fire can occur anywhere these types of material are found. Then we have a class B, which is the inflammable liquid gases like solvent, oil, gasoline, paint, liqueurs, tars, and other synthetic or oil-based products. So this is a liquid which is capable to be flammable. Um, this type of fire spread rapidly and unless properly secured. So this type of fire can be spread so quickly. This is the dangers of it. Can reflash after the flame are extinguished. So if you try to turn off the fire, it is very easy to regenerate itself. Then we have Class C. Class C fires involve energized electrical equipment. So this is the cost of electricity like wiring control motors using of bad wires or damage in one of the appliance or equipment. They can be caused by a spark, power surge, or short circuits, and typically occur in location. So usually, if it's in a room, then it will damage only the room. It will not be spread somewhere else. But it will become difficult to reach and see the space. Then we have a class D, which is combustible metal like the magnesium and sodium. Combustible metal fire are unique and very, very, very strong, unique industrial hazard. To turn it off, we need a special dry powder agent. Then we have class K, which is the fire because of cooking media like oil, grease, commonly found in commercial kitchen. So usually we found this in restaurant. Um, so we need to turn it off, especially with chemical extinguisher that is suited for extinguishing and suppress these extremely hot fires. It also has the ability to reflash, which is generating itself again. To turn off the fire, we need to use the right firefighter or the distinguisher. So we need to define the different types of fire extinguisher. There is the carbon dioxide extinguisher, and we can use it for all electrical fire and oil and spread. And it can turn off the fire without damaging the equipment or different materials. We have also the foam fire extinguisher. Foam fire extinguisher, a good solution for multi-risk usage. So you can use it with the normal fire caused by wood or electrical fire. We have also wood chemical extinguisher, and this is best for the fire caused by the chemical equipment, like it will dry and cool the burning oils and reduce regenerating of the flame. Then we have the water fire extinguisher, which is good for multi-purpose fire. Water additive fire extinguisher. This is contain powerful eco spray, so it can spray very widely and works well where manual handling restriction apply. Then we have the powder fire extinguisher. Can tackle most fire which involves wood, paper, flammable liquid, and electric power. So this can be used also in car and also commercial vehicle. Um, we have also to use to set fire alarm system on the working place and also use fire exit signs. So people usually in fire, the electricity will turn off in the space and they have to know where to move even with the electricity cutting down. Usually, we have to turn on the corridors with emergency lighter. So during the fire drill, they know where to go. We'll stop in here and have a break. So we will have 15 minutes break, ladies. So now it's 9:20. Come back here by 9:35, please. So 15 minutes break. Okay, ladies? Okay. Okay, ladies. So see you within 15 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies. We are in lesson 4 of Unit 3, and we will continue the lessons. We are speaking about the hazards and the type of fires and fire distinguisher. So, we also need, in addition to fire extinguisher, other equipments and tools that help us to calm down the fire. Like we need to have in the place fire alarm system. We use the fire alarm system to alert the people in the space that we have some fire going on. You have to evacuate the space. These systems needs to be tested weekly, and we have a wide range of fire alarm system. Some of them work on batteries, some of them work on main power operated on the space. We also have to have the fire exit signs. Fire exit signs also essentials to all businesses. It's used to guide the people there where they have to go to the nearest exit. Fire depot supply emergency exit boxes and exit hanging sign, which use long leaflets. So usually you found a sign for the fire exit door. And also it is not locked. Usually it is not locked. It is with the pulling handler there. Then the emergency lighting. During fire, there is an increased risk of main power supply cutting out. So sometimes we have a fire and the electricity getting down. In this case, we need emergency lights that turn on by itself by batteries or by solar power that lead the people to the exit safely. Yes. Sorry. Oh, sorry. So I will share it now. Thank you for informing me. Okay. Uh, so what else we need to fight the fires? Usually we need fire blanket. The fire blanket usually used in kitchen or anywhere where we found a fire that help us to just put it on the fire and it will keep it down. So usually they use it in kitchen area because it's help in turning off the flames, not arise it. Available, the blanket is available in different range and size, either a hard or soft case. The blanket is accessed simply by pulling on the Velcro strips. So you will just need to pull the strips, and you will sometimes need to cover yourself rather than calming down the fire. We also need fire safety logbook and document storage cabinet. We need to keep there all the essentials documents for firefighter, for the fire officers. It contained the when the equipment was checked, the maintenance record, and the plans relating to the building. So it's the evacuation plan in safe place, such as a lockable fire safety document storage cabinet. We also need in space the first aid kit. First aid kit is essentials in case of any accidents happen or occur. All the tools there, it's need to be also be up to date. Over the years, various bits and pieces may have been used but not replaced. So, like alcohol, like wand, wamp. So we have also the fire evacuation procedures. To evacuate the space, you have to set the alarm, to turn on the alarm, activate the alarm. You have to call 998, which is the firefighter. You have to help any injured person and notify the emergency responders of the medical emergency. You have to call the ambulance sometimes. You have to exit the building. You have to go to the meeting point where all the people is going there. You have to assist people with physical empowered individuals to a secure area, so help others. Don't use elevators. Magnetic doors will lock automatically. Sensor detect smoke and will sound alarm. So if there is a smoke in the space, the alarm will turn on. Sprinkles activate with heat also. So the water sprinklers, so the one will drop off the water when there is a heat. Um, The last point of lesson 4 is how suspect package can be identified. So you receive the package, a box, or you see a bag that seems suspicious. You don't know who leave it there, why he leave it there. It is not in the correct space. So sometimes you might spot something look suspicious that you are in doubt it is dangerous. So how you could recognize the suspicious packages, the characteristics of it. Usually it is without label or unusual label or inappropriate label. So there is a title where is understandable. Usually it will be written with handwriting or poorly typed address. So you seems the information there is wrong or misspelling. A strange return address or no return address. Sometimes there is no return address on the label. Incorrect titles or title without a name. So you will find there is no name or incorrect title. Not addresses to a specific person. So it is not written there. It is supposed to be for this person. Marked with restriction like personal, confidential, or do not X-ray. Marked with the threatening language like leave it here, don't throw it. Both marked from a city or state that does not match the return address. So if you see the information from who to return address is different, then you have to be careful with that package. What can be the suspicious package? It can be a bomb or explosive material. Don't handle or touch the object. This is what you have to do in case of any suspicious object. Don't touch. Move it to a safe area. Call the police. Use telephone in safe area. Don't operate any power switch. Do not activate the fire alarm. Uh, you have to treat with it as imminent threat. You should first ask anyone on the package. So if someone already has the package, then it's not dangerous. Um, Personal radios or mobile phones should not be used within the suspicious package. So this is all regard lesson 4. So I'll stop the recording now.